It occurs to me that perhaps this life is about responsibilities, about meeting responsibilities, and about being willing to take them on. And it's these responsibilities that reveal us to ourselves and allow us to become ourselves in a certain sense. And there's no one way to define these responsibilities other than a need to take action, to respond, or be able to respond. And maybe these responsibilities are responsibilities for other people, to help other people, or maybe it's a responsibility to help yourself. And I think that those distinctions maybe are a bit loose, considering that there's not a single thing that you can do for yourself that doesn't also affect other people. And we might find that our ability to meet certain responsibilities are hindered by our lack of responsibility in another respect. For example, maybe one wishes to meet the responsibility of helping someone, but finds that there are parts of themselves that they don't step up to the responsibility for, that keep them from helping the person. Maybe we are not stepping up to the responsibility of handling our own affairs enough that we can't actually be an effective help for other people, and therefore struggle to take on that responsibility. And so it seems like life is this endless procession of taking responsibility first for yourself and for your own well-being and health, and then by extension the help of other people. And I think that life either places responsibility before us, in a certain sense. Sometimes it might seem like it's forced upon us, and sometimes we claim responsibility for something. And if life places responsibility in front of you and you try to evade it, it will try to place it upon you again, and maybe in another way. But endlessly we find ourselves in the position of either accepting or fleeing from responsibility. I think maybe that dissatisfaction with life comes from not claiming responsibility and not stepping up to responsibility, because in that sense who we are remains a mystery to us, because we don't know who we are until we find what we're capable of doing and find purpose in our own action. It's like, maybe an apple tree wouldn't know what it was until it had given fruit, until it had fed something, and so maybe in that certain sense people don't really feel fulfilled perhaps until they take on the responsibility of getting themselves healthy, and then they have this newfound pride in themselves, or in having children and being there for their kids, and then learning that they're this force that can do this, and it's in their personality to be that, and then they know themselves and feel better about themselves. We don't take pride in ourselves until we have done something to take pride in. Just to say, until we have met a responsibility and succeeded in meeting it. And ultimately, I think we need that as people. We need responsibilities. We need to care for ourselves. We need to care for other people. We need to step up to challenges. We need to succeed. We need to strive. We need to grow. And you can't do any of these things without stepping up to a responsibility. And a lot of people will say that life's about pleasure and about feeling good and about being comfortable and all these things. And I'm starting to think that maybe that's more of an evasion of responsibility and is really temporary and short-lived. If your whole satisfaction in life comes from having pleasure, then as soon as the pleasure's gone, you're not satisfied anymore. But if you can meet responsibility and know who you are, then there's endless opportunities for responsibility. And meeting responsibility doesn't waste you quite as much as chasing pleasure does. So I think that in a certain sense, who we are, and obviously I'm speaking for myself, so maybe I should say who I am, is dependent on the responsibilities that I step up to and meet, either those that are placed before me by circumstances of life or those that I claim and step up to. Maybe there's not a difference between those things, you still have to step up and claim it, even if it's one that's put in front of you based on circumstance. And maybe that's Maybe that's just a social construct. Maybe the idea of having a responsibility that you have to step up to. Like you have a kid, you have to step up to that. But like, no, you don't. You can run away from that too. There's nothing that you have to do. You can run away from your life your whole life. You can just die not knowing who you are. But I think that life is about recognizing the responsibilities and stepping up to them, because we are each given the ability to do things, and we're supposed to do them, I think. And if you don't do them, I don't know why you're alive. And that doesn't mean that death is better if you feel like you can't do stuff. That seems silly as well. That's just more evasion. But I think that satisfaction with being alive comes from stepping up to and meeting those responsibilities, because then you know who you are, and then you can love who you are, because I don't know how I became this way. It just happened. That's miraculous. Yeah.